Hey guys, it's Brad here. We'll get to the episode in just a second. I just wanted to jump in and, well, first of all, say thank you to everyone that's been listening to us from the beginning. In a few weeks, we'll actually be releasing our 100th episode. And I'd like to do a fan favorites like clip show, going over maybe the top 10 album concept hour moments or just episodes in general, as chosen by you, the listener. So you can either mention a specific conversation or a whole episode that you enjoyed, or even you can bring up your favorite guest. But regardless, if you want to participate in this, please click on the Discord link below, or you can find us at Album Concept Pod on Twitter or at Flyover State Park on Instagram. Let us know if you have any questions for the podcast as well, and we'll read them on the 100th. Anyway, thanks for listening as always, and enjoy our discussion about the Appleseed Cast's Low Level Owls, Volume 2. The Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour. Welcome, everybody, to the Album Concept Hour. I am your host, Brad LeBaron, and I am here, just as I was last week, with my co-host, Dave,
Hello.
And our guest, Ben Birkinbine. Birkinbine?
Birkinbine, that's right. Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Happy to be back. I guess this is officially I know it's only like my second time, but actually, technically, this will be my third time as a guest on the program.
Yeah. Right? I think this counts as a three-timer. So
hat trick.
Yeah. We'll send you the Three Timers Club gift.
I fully expect my gold star or whatever.
That's a good idea. We should just send people gold star stickers. I think that guest will
Great
really
job.
Great job. But we're here for another week to talk about the Appleseed Cast's Low Level Owl. This week we're doing Volume 2. And we got 12 tracks to get to. I hope y'all are stuffed and had some rest or whatever you do in this holiday season. This is a band that some have referred to as America's closest answer to Radiohead. And I think that what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that analogy that I've seen a couple places?
It's an analogy.
Well, I'm probably going to make some enemies, but if by that you mean a little bit overrated and not really worth it, I would say no.
That's true. They're, if anything, underrated.
They're definitely underrated and I think underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
That is Appleseed Cast.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of Radiohead, although people have been telling me I need to go back and re-listen to them again or give them another chance. It's not to say that I totally hate Radiohead. It just never really connected with me.
Well, and it got kind of oversaturated, especially a few of those Radiohead tracks, like they just kind of became one of those. They kind of got sucked into the black hole of a radio and became those songs that you hear over and over and over again.
I guess I don't really know what the commenter or the author means by that. I mean, maybe just in kind of production and like experimenting with different production stuff. But
I mean, I think I'd probably agree with them. I mean, I've listened to Radiohead quite a bit. My brother was really into Radiohead when like In Rainbows came out. They did like a free album they put out on like MySpace
that was
that one
Rainbow
time. And that would definitely a lot of people my age or whatever definitely listened to that one. But
you all listen to the free album.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You better bet I was at the front of that line. But yeah, I mean, there's a pretty good like range of stuff with Radiohead, but I think people probably just get sick of what's his name's antics.
Tom York.
Tom York. I think people just get sick of Tom York's antics in general, and the fact that they're kind of put up on this pedestal like they're on the level of the Beatles or something. It's this weird thing with Radiohead.
Well, and I mean, I think that they are or at least were in terms of popularity, but Anyway, this isn't a Radiohead
yeah,
episode.
Yeah, this is Appleseed Cast, the America's Radiohead. Yeah.
For more hot takes on Radiohead.
Yeah. See, these guys didn't get ruined for us like by being played over and over again on the radio. You know what I mean? They never had that problem. Although I'm sure they would have liked it. Yeah, so we're going to get right into this one. We got 12 tracks for you guys. This first track is going to sound a little familiar. This is A View of Burning City Reprise. Yeah, I think this might be a little bit of what you were mentioning last episode, right?
Yes, and
Where
actually, I see now because when I listen to the album now, they're usually strung together. I thought that was the end of the first album, but actually, it just fades out at the end of the first album, comes up again on this album, and that's at the end of this track is where they do that little break off.
Okay, so, the tape.
Yeah. So I'll since we've corrected it right now, I'll just leave it in the last episode.
Please do.
But they did one of those things that I really loved when I was back in that time is calling back to older songs or previous songs on the album and like doing that long fade out, long fade in thing. There was some most of the bands that did like kind of spacey guitar like this liked to do those long drawn out like almost like dramatic, almost, well, yeah, it is dramatic, but those big spacey things like this. But yeah, this song is mostly a reprise though of what you've heard on the last track. What were you gonna say, Ben?
I was just gonna say, and drawing on your comment about being dramatic, I mean, quite literally also in terms of like having acts or movements within a broader story arc. And I think that's also a very appropriate term to use for the overall concept of this album, which takes place, instrumentally more than, a story being told.
Yeah. Because I mean, like we talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but instrumental music has, just as much stuff to tell. It's not necessarily written down and telegraphed to you. It could have varying meanings for whoever is listening. So, but yeah, we'll get right on to the second track where it really picks up on volume 2. Hello, Chef Brad here. I'm just here to correct something that you are about to hear before you even hear it, like a pre-crime. Basically, the next little section here, I mislabeled the clips as I was saving them. So they're a little out of order, but to try and edit them to be in the proper order would be honestly more confusing for you guys than just leaving it as is. So just know that eventually we do realize that we are not playing the correct clips, and we reckon with it, and it's fine. So I'll let you get back to the podcast. This is Strings. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah. Let me also just say, especially right now after this track, that I think I mentioned on the previous episode for Low Level Owl Volume 1, that Volume 1 was like really important to me, and it came along at a moment in my life. But upon reflection, to carry one of their title tracks,
yes.
I really find that some of my favorite tracks actually come from Volume 2. That's one of them, and then I'll let you know when the others come up as well. But it's just this is a really great song, I think.
Yeah,
And I really
feels
enjoy it.
very powerful.
It feels like everything from Volume 1, but they just like punched it up and they just like double time. Like they just got a little bit harder, a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Than like the Dreamscapey is from Volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think that Volume 1 is like more self-contained. Like you can listen to the whole thing. Like Volume 2, as we get on, I feel like maybe there are moments that are not as strong as the first volume, but specific tracks on this one, like I could just listen to like that song by itself, and that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that there's a lot of stuff going on here. I think there's kind of fascination with like how the world works and like growing up and discovering that the world is a lot harsher than you were told growing up, and it is, I don't know, the kind of like weird cognitive dissonance you experience once you start to see the world for what it really is. I feel like there's some of that going on here. Like
what
in and
you've
out of
just described.
phase.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna bring the lyrics like in and out of phase, kind of emphasizes that a little bit.
Falling on disgrace.
Yeah, falling on disgrace. But we're gonna say,
and I was gonna say that. Well, I was gonna interject to say that previous line that you said was like those are exactly the seeds of emo music. It's like realizing that the world, that there's injustice and feelings. It's gonna be heartbreak and relationships aren't always going to work out and all of that.
Yeah. That realization that, some people unfortunately have that really young, but, some people don't. And it's a rude awakening when it's you find out.
Maybe all those participation trophies aren't all what they're cracked up to be.
What?
Well, yes. Yeah. Participation trophies aren't all they're cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And also just like sort of like it's like idealism in ruins is like the emo is like the emo archetype,
pretty much.
You have all these ideals and you're very romantic and stuff, and then it's like, oh no, heartbreak, and you wrestle with those sorts of things.
It's great for someone going through young life and heartbreak and stuff. It's the best thing. Yeah, so let's go on to a couple more tracks, though. We have 3 and 4, which is that's right. This is going to be another transition because these guys have a lot of good transitions, and we want to highlight some of that. So this is going to be from A Place in Line to Shaking Hands. So I feel like that part gets kind of like a little eerie on the 4th track there, the shaking hands.
It does, and I think I guess I'd have to listen to it again, but that was also like very clearly an organ kicking in there, right? Am I not misremembering?
Yeah, I think that's got to be an organ,
because there was no organ, and then there is the organ, and like if the organ just comes in like that, there is something kind of like, I don't know. It depends on what it brings up for people, or how the instrument is used or whatever. But it just seems like it's a change in tone at least.
Yeah. Well, like looking at the lyrics too, it's shaking hands, greedy smile on the windowsill, flowered walks, wooded fields on the windowsill, and then sirens come. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just my dark mind, but the first thing came to mind was murder. Like this guy's murdered someone and he's waiting for the police to show up or something. With the context clues that I have.
Could be. I mean,
but
and especially with shaking hands. I mean, like a tragedy has just happened and someone is reconciling what has just occurred.
it's like
that.
the one time the album has that kind of like
maybe
uncertainty
dark
to
turn.
it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's Shaking Hands. What about A Place in Line? The one that came before it.
That's also, I think, one of my favorite tracks, if I am remembering correctly. I can't remember again like the full arc of that song, but I'm pretty sure that's one of my other favorite tracks. It's just like a really nice song.
Very good autumn and winter track. It mentions words fall like autumn leaves as he speaks. Kind of. Again, this is I think this is good to listen to right now. If it's starting to get cold where you're at, maybe throw this on.
Right now. Yep.
Right now. Stop the podcast, throw this on.
Whoa.
We'll come back to the podcast. But it will you definitely won't regret it though. I like this line here of the song though. Some things just go away with sleep, fade away. Some things just get worse with every day, either way. But
it is darker.
It is, and it's talking about like trauma. Talking about how sometimes you are living in a bad situation, and you have to make the best with what you're in. But yeah,
maybe I'll save it. I'm going to save it for later once we kind of maybe do a wrap up of the whole thing. But I also have like a theory, and I don't know if there's any connection because, like I said, I asked the guitarist. I think I told you on the first episode. I asked him about the meaning of something related to the album, and because I got shot down, I was like, I'm not going to ask any more questions. But I've got another theory on the broader meaning of owl, like why the owl, low level owl. So at the end, maybe we'll take like just a brief recap of general thoughts.
Okay. I'm excited. I don't have a theory actually, so I'm very excited to see what yours is.
I'm teasing for the end of this episode, right in the middle.
Look at that.
Maybe this owl's the murderer.
The owl's the murderer. Yeah, that's where the shaking hands
come
in.
Why so low, owl?
Get on the level. This side gets real dark. But this is going to be track 5 for you guys. This is Rooms and Gardens.
Another song where it seems like it just keeps like growing and growing within its song.
So let me just say, this I think is my single favorite track on both albums.
Yeah.
But if I'm not misremembering, I thought that track was Ring Out the Warning Bells, the next one.
Oh shit! Did I get this? I may have got this out of order actually, because
I'm pretty sure
I was worried about that when I was furiously putting him away. Hold on.
I've got my list here.
What does this sound like? The one you're looking for. Is this Rooms and Gardens? No, wait. This is an earlier one, I think.
Man, I don't know, but I'm almost certain that the track you played with the drums, I'm almost certain that's Ring Out the Warning Bell.
Yeah.
Almost certain.
Yeah.
Because I love that track. And it's
because what I just played was track 2.
Okay, yeah.
And it's listed here on my list as track 6. So I wonder what track 2 was. Let's hear track 2 again. This is track. Okay. All right. This is going to be a fun one to mix, guys. That was Rooms and Gardens, and what you heard earlier was
Ring Out the Warning Bell.
Ring out the warning bell. Anyway, so this is Rooms and Gardens. I really enjoy this track too. You were saying it's your favorite track.
Not this one. The earlier one that you played.
The earlier
as
one.
well.
Okay,
the
okay,
earlier one,
okay.
which is just an instrumental, which is I'm pretty sure is Ring Out the Warning Bell. So,
Yes.
but the track you just played also, that's excellent. That's another
Mhm.
excellent song. That is it's just a true standout. If that is Rooms and Gardens.
Yes, this is Rooms and Gardens that we are talking about currently. We have been following the lyrics the whole time, so if we should be thematically on point, even if we were talking about the wrong music. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed. Again, I was saying earlier that this one is lighter on the lyrics, but really they just have less songs with lyrics. When they have lyrics on this side, it seems like it's a little more drawn out.
Yeah, they're beefier. There's
more lyrics. So, yeah, I think that maybe I was wrong, but I think this is kind of maybe jumping off of what was happening in the previous tracks, where they're kind of dealing with some real harshness and realities in life, which seems to be kind of the theme for this second half, maybe. But this song is about kind of personifying people as wasted plants and gardens that have been kind of left away and stuff. And I don't know. It's a really beautiful and sad idea. Again, very very good emo content. I think not too cheesy.
Definitely without being cheesy.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like if you have kind of like an Edgar Allan Poe kind of depressing going on, that's okay. I think because he had a way with words about it. He could describe that depressing stuff. Edgar Allan Poe's dope. I don't know anyone out there. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's good shit.
I support that statement as well.
Yeah. I think that I know he's a little overrated, but there's a reason. He was a depressed MFer. he had a bad time. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, the next track we're going to get to is Ring Out the Warning Bell, which you may have already heard.
Teaser.
Let me see if I can get this right. Is it this one? Yeah, that sounds much more like Ringing Out a Warning Bell.
More like an instrumental track.
Yeah.
And that instrumental track is so... I don't know. I think when I first heard that track, it just really stood out to me. Like, just the overall arc of that whole song. But it also, in some ways, stands out from all the other tracks because they have that... You played it in the clip. They have that drum piece. That it's like... And I forget what that technique is called, but it just sounds like... It's almost like, I don't know, it just makes the drums kind of punchy but subdued at the same time.
Well, it kind of sounds like the bass drum is like almost like flat. It almost sounds like the bass drum is like broken or something.
In a weird way, that's almost like I kind of find it to be like dance music-ish, like in the way that the drum is produced, like
a waltz or something, like a classy dance.
Classy dance, but also I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm totally off, but it just it just moves in a way, but it's muffled, and it's a very really cool moment, like in the whole in both albums. Like
it is very cool. It's kind of like The Sun Smells Too Loud in Mogwai's album The Hawk is Howling. It's this really just, I don't know, just really beautiful, just makes you feel good song that you don't know why it makes you feel good, but like it does.
And particularly because on top of those drums, they have this like, again, these like almost like symphonic sort of like thing going on in the, like soaring above that really like kind of gritty drum or sort of dirty drum. It's just like provides this great contrast, and I love that.
Really just great track. If you really want, you're right. I think this one does have more just standout tracks, like you were saying a little bit. Like you could listen to just this track and get it. you know?
Yeah. And to your earlier point, I do think that I think that's why volume 1 feels more like comprehensive as a whole, because you can just like listen to it all the way through. And there are good tracks, don't get me wrong, but in number 2, maybe it's a little bit more disjointed, but like the tracks that stand out really stand out.
Yeah. Like it definitely like flows start to finish like the first volume, but there's more of these standout tracks.
They don't need the context like track or volume 1 does.
Yeah, I wonder.
These can easily be iPod shuffle tracks. Like, yeah, I'm good with this.
This is one that I might not have skipped. Actually, you know, I might have actually kept going.
You could have danced a bit.
Yeah. We got we're about halfway through here. We got 6 tracks left for you guys, and I'm hoping, I think the rest of the clips are okay, but this should be Sunset Drama Queen.
Yeah.
This one reminds me of, this one feels Christmassy. You guys think this feels Christmassy to you guys?
I do feel like there's more of a winter vibe to this one than fall.
Yeah.
Maybe we've transitioned in the seasons here towards the last part of the album.
Yeah. Like we've gone from autumn to winter during the 2 volumes here. But I felt very Christmassy vibes though. Felt like maybe Rum Pum Pum. What's that song?
Drummer Boy.
Drummer Boy. Yes.
And it
That's
really
totally
does because I think it's, again, you have that chime that's in the background on the high end, but then there's like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Just like really
but
straightforward kind of drumming again.
It like slowly builds too. Like it just keeps a little bit harder, and a little bit faster, a little bit like through the whole thing. It feels like it just builds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one has a really just long.
Because I think if I remember correctly, actually the next song begins with. I'm trying to remember how this is bugging me now.
It's so difficult to separate out the songs. You know, it really is.
This was one of the weirder ones to clip out, by the way, because it was kind of frustrating to stop every song.
Yes.
Because you don't feel like you should.
That's the other thing, and that's why when I was talking about a song I like misremembered or something, it's like, because now I just listen to it like all the way through, and it's just on, and it's like a vibe that I want for that day or when I'm working or doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some albums that are just like that. Like some records that I have, I never know what the track lengths of any of them are. You know, I just put it on, do something, flip it, whatever. I'm never concerned with the time. But ever since we've had digital readings of everything, like
start breaking out,
you're very aware of how long and what track is what, and
to Dave's point earlier, though, I will say that like the build in this song also, like, I love where it goes. Like it gets to a really great place, and the guitar kind of has a little bit of a what do I want to say, a little bit of a twang or a snarl to it later. It's really nice.
Yeah, this one has a really, like, one of the best like build-ups maybe in the albums, because this is one where it takes a while to get there, but it's worth it. I love the song title, Sunset Drama King. That to me felt very Mogwai. Because, like, the song I mentioned before was, like, The Sun Smells Too Loud. And this is Sunset Drama Queen. Like, they're just throwing words together and pushing it out, I like it. So, yeah, we have a couple more tracks for you guys. This next one is The Last in a Line. So this is going to be track 8. Now, I think this one's kind of like a sequel in a way to, what was it? Track 9 on the last album, where he's kind of like, it's kind of like he's figuring out a new trick on his instrument or loop pedal or whatever is going on.
Yeah, and this one just drones on that for a while, but then there's all these other interesting things that are going on. So what you would do is, and when he does do this live, he just loops that one part and then is doing other stuff like on a synth or on something else, and it's really fun to watch. And that little riff can kind of get stuck in your head just because it drones on that for a while.
Yeah.
The album concept hour.
I was also going to mention, Brad, you talked about like these callbacks to previous things.
Yeah.
And I've never realized this until now. I'm just like looking at the titles of the tracks in a list.
Yeah.
But this one's called The Last in A Line. And a previous track, the second track or whatever, on this album is called A Place in Line. So A Place in Line, The Last in A Line. In A Line almost implies like a family line.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that before this. Yeah.
Whereas A Place in Line is just like you got to get in a line to get into the theater or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any connection.
Well, it could be like, wait, what's the previous one again? The first in a line?
A place
in line. So maybe this is like going from like having an identity and something you call your own, maybe, to I don't know, being at the end of that process. I don't know, it's a stretch.
I'd have to look
at
the lyrics too.
But there's no I think there's lyrics in this one, but there were lyrics in the other one for sure.
Yep. Well, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the next one also has line in it, and it's decline.
Oh shit!
Decline the line.
Oh my god! Look at that. They snuck one in there. So here's decline. Wait, is this a different thing, or is this the same thing? Did we already listen to decline? No, that was
we heard both of those before. I don't know because again, I don't know the titles of the songs.
This is less a technical difficulty and more a reading difficulty. I did not click the right one, so here's the song. Yeah. So that sounds right. That sounds like decline. Yeah. Again, this one's pretty low on the lyrics. Face yourself, let it go, turn away, watch it grow. You never had the time. So, yeah, I don't know. Seems like it's another. I mean, if the rest of this volume has been about facing your mortality or something, then this kind of follows that theme.
Suit.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of forget exactly what happens after this song, but I feel like this marks a moment where like it sort of transitions to eventually just the end of the album. And I just feel like, I mean, I'll listen to the next clips, but I kind of felt like this is like a moment where it just starts to it still has the elements that we've heard through all the volumes and the tracks, but there is this kind of shift towards just instrumental outro, that's going to come.
I'll say it. I thought that it kind of at the end kind of lagged on a little bit. I'll be honest. Like when I was clipping it and when I heard it earlier, I was like, you know what? This last track is like cool, but it's 9 minutes. And like I mean, it's if you're just spacing out listening to it, I'm sure it's fine, but I think you're right that it does get to outro territory for the most of the remainder of this. Yeah.
Yep.
But hey, they're good at outros, I guess. They know how to do it, but yeah. I do it does
outro with the best
slow down a little bit though. Yeah. But let's see what maybe this next track sounds like, though. See how much slowed down we got. We'll
get into argument over it.
Yeah, we could probably argue over this. do love that you can still kind of hear that the bass drum kind of muddled thing there. It's like the drums like breaking more and more as they're going through the album or something.
But and that's just it. And Dave made a nice pun at the beginning of this, is like the argument, because it's called The Argument. But I do really feel like, and I guess this is why I think the second volume feels less cohesive than the first, is because you're right. It does, at this point, it's just kind of like, all right, keep droning on. And it just feels like, you know, those moments at like live concerts when musicians will just like, all right, I'm just going to do this for a while and you guys do whatever you want, you know, just kind of see what's going on.
Or figure out so one guy can take a break or then leave the stage. They didn't make this like a 12-minute bridge, or there's fucking around until something happens.
That's the level of success you want to be at as a musician. The level like where you can in the middle of a show leave and do a bathroom break.
Just like loop something and just like hold on. Everyone's standing around like, oh, I guess I got a drink. Nothing's really going on right now.
That's when you know you've made it. Like you're doing shows that are long enough and successful enough, you can do that. Yeah. So this is definitely a bathroom break track. I guess. Is that how we should scale like tracks when we find one that's like, if you were watching live, would you go to the bathroom on this track? You know, like as a rating system.
It would need length, and then depending on the line of the bathroom, yes.
Yeah. This is going to be my like 2 thumbs up, like Siskel and Ebert thing for music.
The scale. Yeah. Although, as someone who really adores the Appleseed cast and this album, I'm going to push back against bathroom break track.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that those tracks exist, but you know, there's still some meaning and some context behind this one.
Well, the thing about this is you could probably hear a lot of it through the walls, you know? Like, you could probably hear a decent chunk of some of what they're doing in the bathroom if it's close enough.
My joke was coming through. You see like a band playing, and like the drummer gets up and leaves, and someone like the guitarist puts their guitar down, and guy like hits on the piano, starts like looping a sound, and then playing around for like 5 minutes, and he leaves, and then they all come back and they start a next song, or the song begins. Like, God damn it, guys, do you really need to do that?
I mean, I would be really impressed, honestly, if they pulled that on me. I'd be like, man, you guys got a break without even getting off stage. That's brilliant.
So a while ago, Ben, I did see Appleseed at High Noon. Their first half of their set was low level volume 1 and 2 together as one full set, and they took a break and they did a whole nother set with like everything else, and it was probably just to watch
full sets.
These 2 albums like just played through like front to back was amazing.
Yeah.
I know that they had been doing a tour, actually, the low level owl. Man, it's such a mouthful.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to say, isn't it?
God damn it.
Yeah, low level owl.
The owl tour.
Level owl.
Owls.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Reliant K came out with an album called Mm-hmm. Because it was very hard to announce.
Or Crash Test Dummies for that song.
I think it was 4 M's 4 times. It was like 16.
Yeah.
There was a girl who.
Oh, is that them?
Yeah, that's Crash Test.
That was Crash Test.
Is that what the song's called?
Yeah, it's just like MMM.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell? All right, I'll have to. No idea. I'm more familiar with the Weird Al. What was it? No, it's not. Is it Gump? No. That's President of the United States cover. Weird Al had one. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the one where he talks about the skater that crippled that other skater for the Olympics, and the guy that got his balls cut off, and Headline News was the name of the Weird Al song. No. All you Weird Al fans out there, Headline News. Anyway, this next track is going to be our track 11, and it is what happens after an argument?
Reaction.
How about a nice reaction?
Reaction. Good reaction. Yeah.
This and the last few tracks seem like they could easily be on that first one where that's like the simple, small lyrics, like that droning, that building, that soundscape, that wave hitting you.
Yeah.
I take back what I said though. This track is really good. Also,
yeah, this track is good. This track is definitely good. I think it's just the last one's so long.
The last one is also very long.
I think the last one feels like 2 or 3, you know. But which is, it's fine, I guess, if it's the last track.
Tough to clip, also, I would imagine.
Yes, this was all very tough to clip, guys.
What 15 seconds on the 9.5 minutes track do you want?
Yeah, I know. What part of this 9-minute jam? I think I picked the very middle part where it gets the loudest. Yeah.
Most interesting.
Therefore, the most interesting. I like I always think that the louder stuff is always more interesting. I don't know. It's got a depth to it. What do we got here? The little facade forewarn the little worm. In turn, you burn out the secret places. I felt like cancer. I felt like cancer.
I fell.
Oh, maybe it's like cancer, like this constellation in the sky. Which would make sense with the earlier lyrics about the stars being sold to like greedy people or whatever.
Could be, although from what you just read there, I felt like the worm was like inside, and like a worm eats out the inside, just as cancer attacks the body from the inside.
Maybe, that's probably.
And so it's like an internal, like decay, and
you burn out the secret places,
hollowed out from the inside.
Yeah. Shake the smile from your face. Be still and answer. Put denial in its place.
This is really about not having your mom not letting you sleep over at your friend's house, really, and you're sad.
Well, yeah, this seems to actually end like at the point where the middle of the wall is. The wall in the middle of the album, he's like fully in the wall.
Yeah.
I feel like this character is fully in the wall. Like he's not it doesn't seem like in the next track he's going to become a better person or whatever. It seems like he's chosen to shake the smile from his face and put denial in its place. So it's like he's chosen the dark path.
Maybe it's the guy who killed someone previously, waiting for the sirens to come.
Maybe.
The low-level owl, the owl that was flying at low levels has decapitated someone.
He's on the windowsill, watching, head sideways, cocked.
Huh. Interesting. It's weird. I didn't find this much connection on the second part until just this recording. But it does seem like volume 2, you're saying musically volume 1 is way more connected, right? But I think thematically volume 2 is maybe more connected as far as what I'm seeing in the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, we have one track for you guys. We have one more track for you guys left. This is a little song we like to call Confession. It's a good place to end. Confession. Took about 4 minutes to get to that note.
Just that one note.
Ding!
Yeah.
So yeah. The last track's pretty long. I'll be honest. And it's probably the reason that this volume 2 feels like you were saying, like a big outro.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's got some. It sounds like there's a feed from a television show mixed in the background or something.
Yeah, there are voices that you just can't make out.
Initially, I was thinking maybe voices in a room, but I don't know. It seemed like the voices were had a flow to them, like a
conversation.
Yeah.
It could be something just in the recording studio that set something up, and just to record something and just really mess with all the audio completely until you couldn't. Can comprehend anything that's being said.
Yeah, it could
but
be.
It's just voices.
I want to try. I
Oh,
don't
God,
know
I
how
tuned
to
my
do
record
this
plate
yet.
backwards.
I was gonna say I don't know how to do this yet, but you can extract vocals from audio. You just need like the instrumental track and the track with the vocals, and you can do this trick to just
Rip 'em.
phase out all of the music parts.
This is
I was
yeah.
gonna try to do it for this track, but I don't know the trick yet. So, what were you gonna say about?
This is basically what samplers will do too. So you can drown out but it's more so for frequencies. So you can drown out and like just get the drums or the low end of the drums to a single track or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you're doing. You're phasing out by putting up like the opposite sound waves, for lack of a more descriptive term. Very cool though. I was reading about him, like very excited to try this out. But yeah, I don't think I'll probably get the vocals out of here. But it's something though
got some
that
time.
in future tracks going forward, I might be able to extract a few little voices underneath or something if I get good at that. But yeah, that's low level volume 2. I think that's wait. You had a theory, right, Ben?
Yeah,
Yeah, don't
it's
want to
time to
forget.
go. It's time to go Galaxy Brain on
Ooh,
everybody. I mean,
all right.
not an official segment because I think there's
trapped
another podcast that does that. But
Okay.
so the Appleseed Cast, number one, just as a term, I didn't know
Yes.
what this meant until I think I had an Appleseed Cast shirt on one time, and this guy stopped me. He's like, "Oh, are you an actor?" And I was like, "What?" No. So but the Appleseed Cast apparently is the name for like the understudies. Like you've got the mainline cast members, and then the Appleseed Cast are like those who are studying under them to try to come up to the kind of main stage.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm thinking about low level owl. Again, I have no idea if this is correct, but I'm thinking about the owl and like what is the significance of an owl? And if you look at like mythology or philosophy, one of the things is like the owl of Athena, which is the virgin. Athena, is the virgin goddess of wisdom, and Minerva. Also, it's come to the owl of Minerva has been used as a symbol of knowledge or wisdom or an erudition.
Yeah.
So very famously, Hegel, the German idealist, talked about the owl of Minerva spreads its wings only with the falling of the dusk, which is basically said to say that like philosophy only comes to understand a historical condition just as it passes away. So I almost wonder if the artists here are thinking about this moment in life, like in these various experiences, whether it be a breakup, cancer, tragedy, something else, and trying to understand it. And only with the benefit of hindsight do they come to some sort of realization about all of these fragmentary moments that made up that thing, right? And they tried to express this somehow throughout the albums.
I mean, that does kind of draw things together, like the themes that we're seeing.
Because if you think about like philosophy, right? Large bodies of knowledge, but like it's not quite that high. So I'm thinking like low level owl is like this is just one thing. It's like one person. It's not this historical condition like of humanity, but it's more like my own historical condition. So it's not quite
not above, not in the stratosphere looking down, but like a little lower to the ground.
Just low level. Whole. It's just like it's just one person's realization rather than an entire philosophical tradition looking back on this moment in history. It's like my own history. It's just lower level, like on a totem pole or something. Like it's the hierarchy is like this is. I'm not making some grand theory or something, but it's like me coming to wisdom, coming to term with this thing that happened in my life. A little bit lower level than the others.
Well, and kind of in a way coming to terms with their like emo-ness or whatever. They're the part of them that is more focused on just the negative aspects of life and maybe negative in a toxic way or anger even and because you were saying like the earlier ones were a little more emo sounding as you would expect, but this is a lot more mature than you would typically expect in emo music.
And also like in the first volume, there are like triumphant moments and moments that are like blissful and happy. Like you were kind of pointing out that it's there, but it's also fragmentary.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have like a complete whole. It doesn't tell a narrative story. It's all just kind of like a dream almost, or like memories, like fade from memory. What was the line about memories? It's like a dance with the memory.
Yeah.
Because it's all over now.
Yeah.
And so he dances with it as if it's this romance, right? This romantic gesture of dancing, but it's only a memory. It's no longer there anymore. So there's this and then in volume 2, there's this recognition of perhaps loss and that beauty that maybe took place in volume 1, whereas in 2, it's like, no, embrace, the arguments and the, and all of the toxicity, and it's eating at him from the inside, like the worm or the cancer,
Yeah. Oh man, I love this. Like, I love that. I love when we get into an album that I don't think has much of a, consistent theme, and then we discover through like breaking it down that it does. You know what I mean? Like this does not. I mean, with all of what we've talked about today and last week or whatever, I do feel like there is. I think that you're spot on, Ben. I think that is a very good call.
But it's one person's interpretation. Like I said, like I asked the guy.
I think that it makes all the pieces fit, like
I think this makes exactly perfect sense.
Yeah.
From what we talked about earlier, how it's like a blank canvas. You look and you make how it is, like, or like you said, like you send down, you can just take it in and start thinking about your own ideas. I think this album doesn't have a concept. This album is your concept. This album is your memories. This concept is your heartbreak. It's not my heartbreak. You don't give a shit about my heartbreak. You're thinking about your heartbreak. You're thinking about everything that you've gone through. It's your journey, not the band's journey.
That's pretty rare. I don't think there's a lot of albums that really like it's like you're the protagonist. Like you literally really are like in a choose your own adventure almost.
Because from track 1, volume 1, where like it's almost like like you're getting a massage. Like they put this like soothing music on. You kind of get like relaxed, and you kind of like fall into like this entire like different state, or like anything where you just can zone out. Like you just take like an hour and a half of just have like that meditation time and just think about everything. Yeah,
absolutely. So highly recommend this, guys, again, for a listen through. We'd love to talk more about it, but I'm looking at the clock and we got to get to our plugs and what we've been listening to lately. And I'll start. We'll go to Dave, and then we'll end with you, Ben. As far as what I've been listening to, you know what? I'm just going to skip to my plugs. What I want to plug today is I have a handful of music videos up on my YouTube channel, Flyover State Park. I just released a remix of the Willow Smith song, Meet Me by Our Spot. And, I think that it kind of captures the spirit of it a little bit. But I also have a Method Man music video, a music video for Run the Jewels 4 track, and the Michelle Branch music video that was a patron exclusive that I made with Michelle Branch and the movie of Saw. So anyway, I just feel like those don't get enough love and enough watches. I think they're fun, and so go into Flyover State Park and check out the music video playlist. What about you, Dave? What have you been listening to? What do you got to plug?
This last week, I actually kind of dove into a lot of Appleseed casts, not just this album, but Two Conversations, End of the Ring Wars, just pretty much everything. Just I'd listen to an album and I'd just say, fuck it, play it again and just go through the whole thing again, because it's one of those albums where it feels like you can really have it on the background for most of this, and you can just keep it going. Like it doesn't really...
Yeah, it's comforting.
It never ends. It kind of like... It seems like it works in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Went through some weird older pop punk... God. I was into there. I can't remember because there's a few days ago I was putting together a playlist for something, and now I can't remember what the hell I had on there. So off to you, Ben.
All right, Ben. What about you? What do you got to listen to? What you got to plug?
I would also just jump on the Appleseed cast thing and just say that their most recent album that was released in 2019 is called The Fleeting Light of Impermanence, and it's different. It's like stylistically different than basically any other Appleseed cast album, but it's also really interesting. And now it's basically become the the kind of lead singer, Chris, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of it, but it's a lot more like with electronics, but it's very, very interesting and unique.
Okay.
The other stuff that I've been listening to, number one, Nas's new album.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard it yet, but
which actually I just listened to it yesterday,
so
and it's really good. It's like it's a nice throwback to like, you know, boom bop, like hip hop from like the, you know, the 90s and 2000s or whatever.
Hell yeah.
But it's like updated and still kind of like modern, but it has lots of familiar faces on there, like Lauryn Hill makes an appearance and some other people. So that's really good. Third thing I'll mention is that I'm always like on a math rock kick. So the third thing I've been listening to is a band called Light. That's Lite.
Okay.
They're a little bit older, or they don't have so much like new, but there was a 2019 album called Multiple that I've been listening to.
Okay.
Japanese math rock. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for coming on to talk Appleseed Cast with me. And Dave, like I have learned a lot these 2 episodes. I should have been listening to this forever. But
sorry you missed it earlier.
I know.
I'm glad you got to know.
I probably could have used this earlier in my life, but I have it now, so I'm really excited to have that now. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening to the podcast, and we will see you guys next week. The Album Concept Hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, John Aker, and Jake the Snake Foster. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Join the discussion on our Discord, tweet to us at Album Concept Pod, or for everything else, go to Linktree/Flyover State Park. See you on Side B. This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.